In 1816, Republican James Monroe from Virginia defeated the Federalist candidate Rufus King in the presidential race. In 1820, the Federalist Party was fading, fielding electoral tickets in only 2 states, and Monroe once again winning the presidential race, carrying the entire country. Even as political party divisions weakened and John Marshall aligned the Supreme Court with the aggressive nationalism of Henry Clay, John Callahan, and others, the troublesome issue of slavery again threatened to disrupt the nation's unity. In 1819, Congress considered a request from Missouri, an area carved out of the Louisiana Purchase, to form a constitution in preparation for the admission to the Union as a state. Missouri's slave population already exceeded 10,000 people. James Talmadge, a Republican congressman from New York, moved that the introduction of further slaves be prohibited and that the children of those already in Missouri be freed at the age of 25. His proposal generated 2 years of controversy, during which Republican unity shattered along sectional lines. His restriction passed in the House of Representatives, where most Northern congressmen supported it over the objections of the Southern representatives, but it died in the Senate. When Congress reconvened in 1820, Senator James Thomas of Illinois proposed a compromise with 3 parts. 1. Missouri would be authorized to draft a constitution without Talmadge's restriction. 2. Maine, which prohibited slavery, would be admitted to the Union to maintain the sectional balance between free and slave states. And 3. Slavery would be prohibited in all of the remaining territory within the Louisiana Purchase, north of Missouri's southern boundary. Congress adopted Thomas's plan as the Missouri Compromise. A year later, Missouri represented Congress in its new constitution, which not only protected slavery, but prohibited free blacks from entering the state. Since some northern states considered free blacks as citizens, this seemed to violate the federal Constitution's Comity Clause, which requires each state to recognize the rights of citizens of other states. Henry Clay engineered a second Missouri Compromise, according to which Congress accepted the state's constitution as written, but instructed Missouri that it could not deprive the citizens of any states of their rights under the U.S. Constitution. Missouri ignored this provision. Thomas Jefferson, who had drafted the clause of the Northwest Ordinance of 1787 prohibiting slavery north of the Ohio River, strongly opposed efforts to keep the institution out of Missouri. He saw the controversy as an attempt by Federalists to revive the party by setting Northern and Southern Republicans against each other. Jefferson was correct that political power motivated most Northern congressmen, but it was Republicans, not the few remaining Federalists, provided the majority of the votes against slavery in Missouri. By 1820, New York had surpassed Virginia in population, and New York Republicans were among the leading advocates of emancipation in Missouri. 28 years of Virginia presidents, excluding 1 term of John Adams from Massachusetts, have persuaded many Northerners that the Southern exercised undue influence in Washington. More slave states meant more Southern congressmen and electoral votes. The Missouri controversy rose for the first time that would prove to be a fatal issue. The widespread expansion of slavery. The sectional division it revealed aroused widespread feelings of dismay. Thomas Jefferson wrote, "This momentous question, like a fire bell in the night, awakened and filled me with terror. I considered it at once as the knell of the Union." John Quincy Adams wrote of the debate in his diary, disclosed as a secret. It revealed the basis for a new organization of parties. Here was a new party really formed, terrible to the whole Union, propinquous terrible to the South, threatening in its progress the emancipation of all their slaves, threatening in its immediate effect that Southern domination which has swayed the Union for the last 20 years. The dissolution of the Union over the issue of slavery, Adams mused, disastrous as that might be, would result in civil war and the extirpation of slavery from this whole continent. It would take more than 40 years for Adams' prediction to be fulfilled. For the moment, the slavery issue faded once again from the national debate.